18 minutes after 3 o'clock Monday. Welcome back in. Jay and Terry with you here inside the Herndon Chevy Studios. Glad to be back in person. It was fun at home for a minute.
Just a minute?
Well, I mean, like Jalen was very nice the other day. Apparently you guys could hear my dog with a squeaky toy.
Yeah.
I could hear it, but I wasn't sure if listeners or you guys could hear it. She was just, the funny thing about that is she's never, like, she's had that. This is a lab. I have two dogs. I have a little 12-pound, like, Yorkie poodle mix. I say we. And we have a big 80, like, low 80s pound yellow
You
lab.
ever walk them together?
We have.
I mean, to me, that's funny.
Yeah, but
a little small midget Yorkie, then the big old lab.
Yeah. Now they get along great, but yeah, walking them is not. Yeah, it's a different. That's a different situation.
Yorkie has to get along with.
But my daughter has a new rescue that she had, and she's been bringing, and she's a little black lab, and she's been bringing her over a lot. So my lab and my daughter's lab were not fighting, but they were, and I'm air quoting here, exchanging toys on a regular basis,
that's
right?
Cute.
Okay, except that they got a little jealous.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so my dog, who again only likes to chew bones, like she has the fake bones, the real bones, but that's all she like. She doesn't care about squeaky toys and things like that. And then when my daughter's dog was over last week and had a squeaky toy, now that's all my dog wants to do. Is the squeaky toy. Like, oh, wow, these things make noise and they're soft.
Cool.
Like, this is fun. And so that happened last week. But
so did you thank your daughter for that?
No, yeah.
Thanks, honey. Dad wants to say thank you.
Thanks for introducing that. No, and the funny thing is, it was our toy. It's just that my dog never played with it, and it's too big for the small dog.
That's funny.
So anyway, but it was didn't. For those who don't know, I've been recuperating for some surgery. If you haven't heard, I'm going through a few things, and I'll tell you more about it before I'm out of here again for a couple of days this week. But I was told if I could work from home, just make sure everything's good. Surgery was kind of delicate. Just leave it at that.
Would be, yeah.
And here we are. But it is nice to be back. But I appreciate all the support of those here in the office and all of you who listen and follow along on Twitter for sending all kinds of well wishes. I promise you, it means a whole lot. I'll tell you what, Meechie Johnson did some uplifting last night for Carolina basketball fans. It's nice to have Meechie back in the fold. And at first, it looked like Carolina was just going to cruise, Terry. I mean, they were rolling right along, and then all of a sudden, from like the 10-minute mark of the first half to the 10-minute mark of the second half, Southern Miss decided to play a couple of funky zone defensive looks and take advantage of South Carolina's inability in the paint on both ends, really. Carolina was forcing up a lot of bad shots. I think they only scored 15 points in that 20-minute run. And what a double-digit lead turned into a double-digit deficit. And all of a sudden, you're like, oh, no, not another one of these.
Right.
Because you've had so many. Stony Brook, Boston U.
Last year,
North Florida. Wyoming a couple of years ago. Like, just, under Frank. I mean, just some bad. Well, you're like, y'all. You can't play down to the competition. And for a bit, it felt like they were. And then Meechie decided, you know what? Screw this. And then he just went nuts.
He went, and the good Meechie popped up.
Yeah.
And good
the great Meechie, the best
nuts.
Meechie ever.
Career best Meechie.
The best Meechie ever.
Yeah,
I mean,
but you're right.
Stat line last night for Meechie Johnson, 33 minutes, 33 points, 3 boards, 3 assists. He did turn it over 5 times, but he was 9 of 19 from the floor, 7 of 14 from three-point land, including some big ones late in regulation and a big one in OT, and 8 of 11. And his 2 big ones to make sure overtime was coming. Those were massive.
Yes, they were.
I mean, he had a night.
He got on a heater that last, 4 minutes? Last 4 minutes, and then
overtime?
He went, look, they needed him to, obviously.
Had a nice dime over to Studi in the corner to kind of, seal the deal. Eli Ellis had a nice night. Mike Sheravance.
Eli Ellis. Again, we'll see where the Eli Ellis experience goes, but he's showing you something.
Yeah.
He really is. We'll see as the competition ratchets up how Eli Ellis plays. But right now, put it this way, there is no fear in Eli Ellis. But they took a ton of threes, man. Almost, I mean, it's insane how many threes they took last night.
South Carolina shot 43 three-pointers, made 16 of them. That's not great. 37%. It's not horrible.
Yeah, it's above average for college, but when you're taking that many of them.
Yeah. And from the floor, 39%, but held, let's see, Southern Miss, let me see. Southern Miss shot 43% from the floor last night. They were just 5 of 22 from three-point land, but they wanted to go inside last night. By the way, Carolina, I mean, Michi scores 33. Sheravance had 17 as starters, and Eli Ellis had 20 off the bench. I mean, right there, Terry, of your 83 points, that's, 70 of them right there.
Yes.
For three guys score 70 of your 83 points, and you had 5 extra minutes.
Yeah. I mean, look, this team obviously is very perimeter heavy. Here's the thing about it, is your 3 big uns off the bench, Essecondo or Concado, also strong, and help me on that one. Thank you, Simeon.
Hayden Simeon.
Combined 35 minutes, as many points as you and I.
Yeah, no points. 10 boards.
They got 10 boards, but at some point, they're going to have to contribute by putting the ball in the basket.
Yeah.
Because, again, what happened last night, we're going zone.
Yeah.
We're going to go zone, and you're just going to throw up threes, and if you make them, okay, good for you, and if you don't make them, we'll just take the rebounds and go back down the floor. You've got to find a way to get some offensive bounce. And don't get me wrong, Jay, this is fun to watch. I mean, it's fun to watch you run down the court and fire threes, and they are passing the ball.
Yes.
I mean, they're
last night, 18 assists on their made bucket. Hold on, let me make sure that's not right. Hold on, let me make sure I got that right.
Yep, 18 assists on 25
assists
made
on
buckets.
25 buckets.
So they're passing the rock, and that was one of the question marks coming into the year was, with no true point guard, are you going to be able to move the basketball, pass it, run offense, or whatever? And they've been moving the ball, and they've been getting a lot of assists. But at some point, you got to balance your offense inside the three-point line.
Yeah, and that's the things they can work on. They'll have PC in a couple of nights. I mean, obviously, that's a team you should go out and beat. And what can you work on with your interior game? Because this is not sustainable. And as we saw from Southern Miss last night, in my opinion, anyway, they quickly, Southern Miss, figured out, hey, they can't do squat in the paint.
No.
Let's force them to play some ugly basketball despite what they want to do. And again, for half the game, it worked.
It was funny because they went to those. They went zone, and they were saying basically they were looking at South Carolina saying just chuck threes, go ahead.
Yeah,
we're going to have you just throw threes, and if you make them, a lot of times when a team wants to shoot a ton of threes, your goal is to run them off the 3-point line and force them to play inside the paint. But Southern Miss kind of went with, you know what, we're going to go zone.
Yeah,
go ahead, throw them up there, see what you get.
Let's play. We'll dance around. I want to come back on the other side because we're going to be up against a break in a minute, so we'll have some more from this game. But here's Coach Paris on what we just talked about, a struggle versus Southern Miss's zone.
I'll tell you what we couldn't do. We couldn't get the ball inside. And anybody that's ever known me knows that that's a critical component to any offense, I believe. But certainly an offense that I'm coaching is going to have some sort of presence around the basket by way of drive, by way of post-up. And they completely eliminated the post-up because they were switching with a smaller guy. You say, well, post up the smaller guy. But they were so quick to be able to front, and they also really sagged off and helped. So that's why we shot so many threes. They're helping off of these guys. So we skip it to the weak side, and you're going to get a look that you at least say, pretty good. That's at least the quality of most of your looks. Yeah. And so what are you going to do, not shoot those? We got guys that can make those, but when you get in a stretch like that, normally you like to call something that can punch the ball right inside. And it just was hard to do that against these guys.
So you learned a little bit about yourself. You learned you can come back from it because, again, to erase an 11-point deficit on a night when the crowd was okay, but it's not a great crowd, and you don't have tons of energy in the building. Student section was good. But, you know, that – I don't know what it means, and I'm not going to sit here and say,
it's two games in.
You know, but as we talked about, there is evidence to show you this program, unfortunately, has lost more of those in their own gym than they have won in the last several seasons, both under Frank and under Lamont. So to come back from this one in the manner they did.
Yeah. They were down 11 with 4 minutes left.
Yeah, and to send it to OT, again, with clutch threes, with clutch free throws, again, continuing to share the ball. That's a nice win. I don't know where Southern Miss is going to end up. As David Cloninger pointed out in his piece this morning, this would have been likely a quad 4 loss.
Yep.
Because it's a home game. But you won. So now you learned some things. What can you do to begin to repair some of the damage, even if you were victorious?
That's what this is about. Look, last year they lose this game, right?
Yeah.
So you take the positive of, okay, you got the W, and last year you would have lost. You lost to something called an Osprey last year. Right. So you won this game. That's good because you posted a W in a game you were down double digits with 4 minutes left. Are there things to work on? Yeah, you got to get a little more offensive balance. You got to be able to score inside the three-point line. And like Lamont said, teams aren't respecting your bigs or respecting your inside game. They don't care. They're helping off of it, and you heard what Lamont said, what they're doing. They got to get more balance there. Defensively, they got to lock in more consistently. But there's also some good things here. You see, when last year, early in the season, you're going like this. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. We'll come back on the other side. More from Coach Paris on Michi's big night and what else they might have learned about themselves as the non-con rolls on here in the early portion of the Gamecock men's basketball season. Some comments from Dawn as well, and a lot to get to around the SEC and college football. But back on the other side, more from a thrilling overtime win last night at CLA. You're listening to the Postgame Show. Love telling you about integrated media, all they can do to make your life a whole lot better when it comes to home theater, but not just the home theater, the home technology, security cameras, lighting, controlling your thermostat from an app on your phone, putting all those things in one spot for you. They can get it done. This time of year, it's especially important to make sure everything is nice and secure. And maybe you're getting things like a new video doorbell. And you say, oh, that's cool. I can put that in. And then you kind of get home and you're like, yeah, I don't know if I can do that. Call Integrated Media. They'll do it for you. Maybe you're moving. You love your home theater equipment, but you want to make sure it's done right when you get to the new place. They can do that for you. If you're building or remodeling, start from scratch with Integrated Media. Gift giving. Listen, the equipment, same prices as the big box stores with expertise that is second to none. Home theater, home technology, and so much more. My great friends at Integrated Media ready to help you out this holiday season. 803-948-8327. Call Integrated Media.
that's what's beautiful about it, right? Yeah. That's what's beautiful about it, is to see anyone in those moments, even if it's a sport that you don't generally watch, but to see anyone have a moment in front of them that's clearly a moment, and then they perform in that moment, and then knowing that they kind of live for those moments and want those moments is even more special, but that's what makes it really exciting.
That's Coach Paris with Derek Scott last night in the postgame on Michie Johnson's career night. 33 points, a career high for the young man from Ohio. Ohio State, Carolina, Ohio State, Carolina. But back last night and back in a big way. Again, not a lot of spreading around of a scoring for the Gamecocks. Michie had 33. Mike Sheravance had 17, and Eli Ellis had 20 off the bench. Once again, Eli led the team in minutes played, even from the bench, 35 minutes off the bench. He comes in early, and then he just kind of hangs around.
Yeah, I mean, Eli Ellis, again, I don't know where this is going to go once you ramp up the competition.
Right.
But with a little bit we've seen, Eli brings some energy and some points off the bench.
No doubt.
Really does. So far, so good.
3 of 6 from three-point for him last night. Again, Michie was 7 of 14 from three-point range, and Miles Studi just 2 of 7, but hit a big one late to help seal the deal.
It would have. You're up 29-13 early. And everybody's feeling good, right? You're like, you're going to blow the doors off these cats. And then before you know it, you go from up that big to down double digits. With, 4 minutes left, and now you're scraping for your life.
Right,
down 11.
Down 11.
Officially, it was down 11 with 3:49 to go into the TV timeout. But then, Michie goes, like, I'm going to quit shooting opposite-handed and get serious.
And those threes were NBA threes. Like, they were from the logo.
Yeah.
So that's how...
Well, he's never met it. We used to joke when he was here the first time, Jalen. You might remember. I mean,
yeah, I have.
Michie hadn't met a shot he doesn't like.
Once Michie crosses half court, it's Michie time.
Yeah.
And when good Michie shows up, or like last night, like we said, career best Michie shows up.
Yeah.
Once he gets a heater going, man. But then and hopefully this will be different. But then you get the bad Michie that shows up, and then you go, oh my God.
Well,
but hopefully we won't see that for a while.
And maybe there's some guys that can mitigate some of that, unlike a couple of years ago. Because his first year, it was rough. Then the second year,
remember he had Cooper, he had Mack, he had some other guys. Studi had just showed up.
Yeah. And it evened out a little bit more in terms of the need for him to be such a prolific scorer.
It's going to be interesting this year because you got a lot of pieces that are compelling on this basketball team. How it's going to fit together as it goes along, we don't know. But it is a very interesting mix of players, and how Michie fits himself into that mix. Because like you said, there were games Michie would take 6, 7, 8 shots 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And there were games he'd take 17 or 18.
Right.
But on the nights you have bad Michie, who are the guys that are going to jump in there? Or in those games where he's flowing toward bad Michie, do you have someone who can be like a Talon Cooper and settle the whole thing down and say, guys, give me the rock. Everybody, let's go run something, and let's get a good shot. We'll see.
Jalen, let's hear more from Coach Paris. Cut number 4, please, sir. A little extended cut here from Lamont on just exactly what he saw from his star senior last night.
It's nice that happened that way, and that you have a couple guys maybe that can do that. You don't want to rely on that, obviously, and this is a perfect example of why. Just because you can get yourself in some tough spots, relying on it if it doesn't go in. But he's been in a lot of games. It's not the first time that he's performed like that in these moments. Doesn't mean that he always will, but it does mean that you're not shocked if he does. So, that's what he came back here for. That's what in his mind, these are the opportunities that he lives for. And it was funny. He told me that we had in our. At the end of the half, maybe in one of our scrimmages, or I can't remember what it was. Oh, it might have been at practice. And it was a game winner, is what it would be for the period. And he hit that, and he came over to me and he said, those are the moments you live for, Coach. And, that's his mentality. It doesn't mean that you're going to play not quite as hard or any other time, but it does mean that when you see those moments, you expect and hope that it's your turn to perform in those moments, and that's 2/3 of the whole battle. Yeah. So really happy for him, happy for the team. But it's a great, hopefully that'll go a long ways, not only with us, but with Michie Johnson.
So good stuff there. We'll have more from Lamont throughout the afternoon for you. Carolina, again, if you missed it last night, up 16 in the first half, down 11 with less than 4 minutes to play. An amazing swing in the middle of the ball game as Southern Miss used some different zone defenses to just completely mystify Carolina offensively for really more than the middle portion of the game. But the Gamecocks come roaring back late, send it to overtime. Michie hit 2 big free throws with just, 4 or 5 seconds? Well, I just had the play-by-play up.
Yeah, I got it right here. The free throws were 5. I think it was 5. Hold on.
But anyway, it was very, very late.
Yeah, they were clutch. I mean, and that's the thing. It's like last year, again, you missed those free throws.
Well,
and this year you make them.
Maybe.
And you go, well, no, last year they missed them. Let's just be honest. You're sitting there. It was like 5 seconds left, and Michie hit the 2 free throws. Drew the foul. I mean, he gets fouled and goes to the line. That's one thing Michie did do last night. We're concentrating on the threes. Michie did get to the line, and he made some free throws last night.
Yeah.
So my man was aggressive last night, to his credit.
Yeah, last night, let's see, from the line, Michie, 8 of 11. 8 of 11. So
I mean, and that's the other part of it. We always want guys to get to the line, but what good is it if you can't make the free throws? So last night, 8 of 11 from the line. Hit his threes with 7 threes last night. And Michie's never had a night like that in his life. So good for him, man.
Career high
Good
33. Gamecocks have Presbyterian on Wednesday here. Radford coming up this, I guess, next Sunday. And then, let's see, or no, next, when is that? No, next Tuesday. Sorry, Radford next Tuesday, my bad. And then they'll go up to West Virginia for those games with Butler and Northwestern. So you'll get a Big East and a Big Ten team when you head up to the Greenbrier, and then back home for Charleston Southern. So we'll see. They got some things to work on, certainly on the interior. But at least for now, 2-0. And a game, yes, typically in the last few years at least, you felt like Carolina would have lost that one. 803-404-6100. Just got some news, Carolina football news. The Coastal kickoff has now been set for 4:15 on the 22nd. So 4:15 Gamecocks and the Chanticleers.
11 o'clock pregame.
Cool.
So you said you are going to be here this Saturday for the 7 a.m., baby? You going to do that one?
As far as you know.
7 a.m. pregame?
As far as you know.
You hang out with Tyler and I and Dave?
As far as you know.
We'll call you.
What kind of breakfast you got? That's the thing.
I mean,
Bojangles.
That would help.
I mean, a little blueberry Bojangles biscuit, man.
Yeah, those are. I mean, I'm a huge fan. Huge fan.
Throw in a little Krispy Kreme. Can't turn that
right
down.
now, Bojangles. I just saw a commercial yesterday for the smothered steak biscuit. It's the steak biscuit with the gravy.
Well, that sounds stupid good.
That sounds great.
That sounds stupid good.
I'm like, why don't they do that all the time? I imagine you could ask them for that, right? Because they always have the gravy.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? Just throw me some gravy on that.
Yeah.
Because that sausage gravy is the bomb.
Oh, I mean, I just give me a straw and a cup of it.
Yeah, that's.
I just drink it.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's too good.
All right, we'll come back on the other side. No vault today, right? It's that really sucked. On
Really
Monday?
sucked.
You have
That
something
really
good?
sucked. Oh, we always got something really good for Monday, and that really sucked.
All right,
Absolutely.
we'll get that for you. We'll have more on Gamecock football as we start looking ahead to the A&M ball game, but plenty to get to around college football this weekend. Some escapes, some surprise benchings, and is somebody now stuck with their coach? Wah, wah. You're listening to the Postgame Show. All right, I'll toss it to Terry. He's got it all set up. I like these because I get surprised. I don't know.
I don't tell you on purpose.
Well, we
It's
try
more
to do
fun
some of
this
that,
way.
with each other on that.
We try to remember. Every now and then we get it going and go, we really should have saved that.
Yeah.
We have that happen every now and then.
Yeah. So
This one, now the ultimate that really sucked was Thursday night. Anybody who was tortured into watching that Bronco Raider game.
yeah, well, I've already apologized.
That was a disaster.
I've already
So
apologized.
that's the ultimate. That might be the Hall of Fame of that really sucked.
Yeah, that was a terrible football.
That
I mean,
was
it was
like-
great. I mean, I'm thrilled because Denver won, but beyond that, it was just
That's like having your eyeballs waterboarded
something like that.
watching that.
Yeah, that was not.
So the NFL though had a few of these. We will start with that really sucked. And I know the Browns aren't very good.
No.
But you know what really sucks? Losing to the Jets.
yes.
If you don't have a clear idea of who you are, if you look at the scoreboard and see you have less points than the Jets, you have been put in your place, correct? But that's not the one that sucked the most. The one that sucked the most, if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, you are playing the Houston Texans, and the Houston Texans don't even have their starting quarterback.
Right.
And by the way, you're up by multiple scores.
Yes.
And then you ready for this? Then you get outscored in the fourth quarter, 26-0.
And that backup quarterback scored a touchdown.
That backup
Yeah.
quarterback, by the way, torched you in the fourth quarter. The backup quarterback, Davis Mills, 27-45, 292 and a couple of scores, and you said, like you said, ran for one. You blew a 29-10 lead in the fourth quarter to the Houston Texans with their backup quarterback.
They literally did a Denver Bronco lay an egg game where they just could not stop that defense. They could not score any points. And the Texans defense is legit.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously.
But you were, and you had a couple kick returns for touchdowns if you're
Yeah.
Jacksonville. But let's just call this what it is right now. I don't know what's happened to Trevor Lawrence. He is having another not very good, underwhelming type season. Look, don't get me wrong. Every time he comes to the building, he's got a new offensive coordinator, it seems.
Yeah.
Jacksonville's kind of a joke in some ways. But now you've got Liam Cohen, who's supposed to be a quarterback whisperer.
Supposed to be.
But so far, if you look at Trevor Lawrence's numbers and break them down into deeper dive numbers even, it ain't pretty, brother. And
No.
what year are we in now of the Trevor Lawrence experience?
gosh.
You're sick. You're
Six, right?
six.
And by the way, are you paying a minimum wage?
No.
Not $15 an hour?
A little bit more than that.
So, like yesterday, 13 of 23, 158, a TD and a pick.
Yeah, it's not good.
You got to get better return for your money.
I mean, he should. I mean, look, I'm not saying he should be throwing it 40 times, but you're only throwing it 23. You need to be completing 23. He needs to be like 23 of 30 something every day.
I mean, it's just the idea that he is kind of stuck in suckiness.
Well, as you said, I do think to be fair to him,
He's had a lot
there's
of
been
turnover.
a lot of there's constant turnover. You lose a target this year that you started to maybe develop a little bit with in Hunter, but it's been all over the place.
Yeah, it just you look at these numbers and they're
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
13 for 28 for 158. That's not going to win you a
I mean, you
football
look at
game.
his season. I mean, he's got ready, and I'll go a little deeper dive here. Like Pro Football Focus goes big time throws, turnover worthy plays. You want more big time throws, Jay? 9 big time throws for Trevor Lawrence this year, 15 turnover worthy plays.
Yeah.
That ain't getting it done, man. So guess what? He really sucks. To go into that really sucks. Now we're going to he really sucks.
Yeah, and this is a franchise that, again, is getting ready to, for the second time in 20 years, do a major overhaul of their stadium. There was always that chatter that their owner would move them to London if he could. He owns one of London's soccer teams.
Ocon.
So he's already got a presence over there. Now, they couldn't. The Jags couldn't play where his London team plays because it's a tiny little place.
Well, I tell you what, man. If he could figure out the logistics to
he'd do it.
he'd be gone right now.
He'd do it.
They'd all be speaking London.
Yeah.
That is a language, right? London.
No, it's English. They invented
I've heard some of them talk. You ever see a Guy Ritchie movie?
Yeah,
That's not English. That's not English, Jack.
You know what's funny?
A Cockney, isn't it, mate?
That's the London accent, Cockney. Yeah,
Cockney.
and there are certainly. I'm actually reading an English novel right now, and the author does a really nice job of
Explaining
throwing in.
everything?
No, not explaining
Okay.
it. Just writing it in print. How they instead of it's a lot of F instead of th and all this kind of. I think I saw.
Whenever I watch a Guy Ritchie movie, I need closed captions.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. I remember when I was in college, we met some guys who were from Bogota, and they went to Boston University, and their father's like, I want you guys to go to America, but he sent their sister to a college in London. I forget which one. And they said she came back and she couldn't speak any English. And I was like, that's what you get for sending somebody to London. I was like, and they were like, but they were like, our dad thought, it's England. It's there. That's where they invented the language. Like, yeah, but you can't understand it.
Well, I told you, my senior year of high school, senior week at Ocean City, I pretended I was a foreign exchange student from England.
Yeah.
Hello, love. I'm from Manchester. Would you like to get on the lift and go up to my flat and watch some telly?
Yeah, there you go. Nice.
Guess what?
Didn't work out for you.
Not really.
Yeah.
I wonder why. That sounded so believable, didn't it?
We get into some college football
Hello,
action
love.
over the weekend,
Hello, love.
including one
Isn't that
school
going
that
for
may
you?
be stuck with their coach.
Oh, God.
We'll be back.
Oh, God, yuck.
Quick fixes don't win championships. Vinyl, fiber cement, they're weak substitutes. They might look good for a minute or two on the outside of your building, but they don't last an entire season or many, many seasons. Brick is your best defensive line. And when you're ready to build something worth the investment, visit U.S. Brick's new Exterior Design Center at 300 UG Street. In there, you'll see it, feel it, touch it. What does this brick look like? What's it going to look like on my home? You can bring your plans in, bring your contractor, your architect, your designer, your family. Work with the experts at U.S. Brick to know exactly what it is that you'll get. Also, see a lot of the things that they've built. Their fire features, outdoor pergolas, and so much more. Whether it's your house, whether it's a retaining wall, whether it's a fire feature, U.S. Brick, all fired right here in Columbia, ready to help everything you do around your house look and last so much more. Check them out, 300 UG Street or online, usbrick.com. All right, 4 o'clock on a Monday. Welcome back in. Hour 2 of the Postgame Show coming at you from the Herndon Chevy Studios, downtown Columbia. Jay Phillips, Terry Ford. Nice to be back in here. Jalen Tart at Master Control. We'll get back into some college football in just a second. There is another big story going on out there that I want to touch on real quick here. First, this from over the weekend, and then there is a brand new follow-up. If you didn't hear this, 2 Cleveland pitchers, Emmanuel Clase, who's one of the best in the business, and then Luis Ortiz, who's really not, were charged over the weekend with fraud, conspiracy, and bribery stemming from a scheme to rig prop bets, basically individual pitches that led to some gamblers, including potentially friends and associates of these 2 pitchers, winning hundreds of thousands of dollars. Ortiz was arrested Sunday in Boston. He is appearing in court at some point today. Clase, at this point, is not yet in custody. The same attorney, U.S. Attorney's Office, the Eastern District of New York, that brought some NBA charges just a couple of weeks ago, are bringing these charges as well. Each man faces up to 20 years in prison for wire fraud conspiracy, 20 years for honest services wire fraud conspiracy, 20 years for money laundering conspiracy, and 5 years for conspiracy to influence sporting events by bribery. Says Joseph Nocella, the U.S. attorney handling this case, quote, "The defendants deprived the Cleveland Guardians and Major League Baseball of their honest services. They defrauded the online betting platforms where the bets were placed, and they betrayed America's pastime. Integrity, honesty, and fair play are part of the DNA of professional sports. When corruption infiltrates the sport, it brings disgrace not only to the participants, but damages the public trust in an institution that is vital and dear to all of us." Luis Ortiz's attorney is a man named Chris Georgalis. He has denied any of these charges and saying his client, quote, "has never and would never improperly influence a game, not for anyone and not for anything. He has devoted his life to baseball and is doing everything in his power to help his team win. Emmanuel is innocent of all charges and looks forward to clearing his name." Clase, meanwhile, again, 3-time All-Star, 2-time reliever of the year.
Dude pumps about 100 on that fastball.
Yeah, he's good. So, again, they've been charged with basically throwing balls in the dirt on specific props. Now, I told you, there's that part of the equation. New information just coming out today. In fact, the timestamp on this is 3:35, so let's call this half hour ago. David Purdom, who covers sports gambling for ESPN, says that prominent, I'm going to read verbatim here, prominent U.S. sports books are establishing a nationwide $200 betting limit on baseball wagers centered on individual pitches and prohibiting such bets from being included in parlays in an attempt to decrease the incentive for manipulation. This was announced by Major League Baseball. They've been in discussions, has MLB, with sportsbook partners about changes to how these bets can be placed and what bets can be placed. And with this latest information on, again, Ortiz and Clase, you figure something needed to be done. Major League Baseball said that reducing the amount that gamblers can win in these particular props will disincentivize attempts at manipulation. Baseball has been working to, quote, "uphold our most important priority, protecting the integrity of our games for the fans."
You see how much those guys made?
Yeah, I mean, $450,000, and they're already making, well, at least Clase's making a lot. Again, Ortiz might not be making so much. I don't know. I mean, in a relative sense, he's making a lot than the rest of us. But
well, maybe you.
Rob Manfred said, quote, "I commend the industry for working with us to take action on a national solution to address the risks posed by these pitch-level markets, which are particularly vulnerable to integrity concerns." And apparently he's been working with the governor of Ohio, Mike DeWine, who had called for a ban on micro props after this investigation in the summer. You and I were talking about that this morning. Look, again, there are people who are morally opposed to gambling. You and I are not those people.
No.
I am not even opposed to gambling. I simply don't gamble because, by and large, you lose. And that's, but if you like to gamble, that's fine. but I do believe that there can be curbs on some of these things. And you and I were talking that prop bets are a massive part of the problem.
Yep.
You're not going to eliminate them.
No.
And I don't know. I mean, $200 is a limit. Okay. That's all well and good.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to know if the gambling industry itself, and look, they're making a profit on almost any kind of bet that's placed
Sure.
because, again,
we lose.
most of the time
Right.
you lose. But what do their profits look like in that particular realm? In that
The props?
Yeah, in that facet, especially these micro props.
Well,
And again, and look, I know I'm going to sound sanctimonious here. I don't mean for it to really come across this way, but I just can't help but say it. Why are you betting on an individual pitch to be a ball or a strike? Like, I mean, what are we doing?
Man, it's crazy the props that people bet on.
Yeah, I mean, if
it's insane.
Like, I just like, why do you want to bet on one pitch?
It's just, I guess you could go like it's a 50-50 shot. I guess.
I don't know. I mean, if you want to bet on the outcome of a game, or if Aaron Judge is going to hit 2 homers in a game, or Shohei's going to have 8 strikeouts and a home run in a game, or what, okay, I mean, certain props.
I guess props are like the fun stuff to bet on. Like, okay, how long is the national anthem at the Super Bowl?
Well, see, that one I never have gotten. You know why? Because the singer of the anthem can manipulate that.
Right, sure.
That's not something that's out of someone's control.
You're just basically throwing money at something for the hell of it.
Right.
And this ball.
Like, if you want to bet on the coin toss, okay. Like, I don't know why you would. But at least that you hope the ref is throwing that thing way up in the air and it's flipping around.
I really think the props are like, because again, you can bet on props without really knowing the game. Like if you watch any gambling show, these people spend way too much time looking at all these numbers, right? You get a guy saying, well, when the barometric pressure is under 30.245, New England's 4-19 when the spread is +7, and your head's going to explode, right? A prop's easy. First pitch, ball or strike. And so you can do it even if you're not a quote-unquote expert or guru or know the game. So that's probably one reason why props are so popular is anybody can do it just for the heck of it, right?
Yeah.
But my thing about all this, and you look at past, because this is the first thing we all think about, is you go, why are you, as a Major League Baseball player, making a 7-figure salary, or even if like you're at a rookie level, you're making a good 6-figure salary, why would you jeopardize making guaranteed money for God knows how many years on helping your buds make money on a prop bet by throwing a ball?
Right.
What are you doing?
Right.
Right? Because you sit back and you're not a very bright human being.
Yeah.
So you push that out of the way, because to me that's always the first thing I think of. I don't know about you. I always go, what are you doing? But the other part of this is, look, the gambling industry needs professional sports more than professional sports needs the gambling industry.
Fair.
And at some point, the professional sports have to stand up and go, okay, some of this stuff has to go away, because what you're doing here is this is hurting our credibility as a sport, which is going to hurt your pocketbook as a gambling entity, because people aren't going to bet on things they think they're rigged. People aren't going to watch things they think they're rigged.
Right.
So everybody's got to get together, sort of like we talk about with college athletics. Get in a room and go, okay, here's what we got to do. Here's what we stop got to do. And you got to figure this thing out, because right now, all the conspiracy theorists who go crazy, they're jumping up and down over everything, right? People are just looking at these games side-eyed. Like James Harden the other night had like 1 billion points in the first half and did jack in the second half. And everybody's going, James, you got prop on the first half. That's where we're at right now. And if you're a professional sports man, you don't want to be there.
Yeah, because cynicism can win really easily in society, and you don't want that. And for a guy like Harden, look, sometimes you're hot, and I get your point. But you and I have talked about it. Again, Emmanuel Clase is one thing. He's an all-star.
Yeah.
Luis Ortiz, it's almost like, hey, sportsbook, why are you putting a prop bet on a little used middle reliever?
But that's where all the alarms go off, right?
Yeah, and it's like why even, or like we said, some of these kids at small colleges.
Mm-hmm.
That are so easy to be gotten by someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's just not have them. Don't offer them. And that's why I wonder, or even like we said with our guy Brian Bohannon, the former baseball coach at Alabama, calling a buddy and then going to a major league ballpark sports book and putting and abnormal. I don't want to say
Abnormal amount of
something
action on Alabama baseball.
On a college baseball game, which does not get. Listen, I know there's a lot of SEC fans who feel like college baseball is almost as popular as college football.
No,
it's not.
No.
Around here, it is.
It is.
But in the gambling world and in the larger sports context in the United States, it's a very much a niche sport. And so when there's like, wait, what's going on here?
Right.
And why is it 3 states away?
Well, that's the other part.
And then ding, 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 and the alarm bells go off.
Because there are people who
and
are
a day
really
later,
good
you're
at
fired.
policing it. Yeah, you lose your gig. Class A and these again, because you're sitting there. The people that police this, because it's 24/7, right? Somebody goes, why is someone betting on a prop bet on balls and strikes for Luis bleeping Ortiz?
Yeah.
Let's investigate. So people are watching all of this, and if anything abnormal comes up, it's a huge red flag, and everybody starts poking around on it, and this is what happens, and now you're game again. If you're baseball, now you're where the NBA was 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Everybody's saying, well, so your game's kind of rigged, and guys are manipulating this or that to make their friends money or make them money, and now I can't believe anything you guys are doing. I think everything's rigged. It's all scripted like WWE by Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
That's where you're at.
And you can't have that.
No,
so
you can't have it at all.
This is one step. Again, you're not eliminating prop bets in Major League Baseball, but you are lowering the amount of money that can be wagered in one. I suppose that's a positive first step in trying to eliminate some of this.
Sure.
But still, if because listen, I got a hunch. The next guy is going to go, well, I won't get caught.
No, that's what they all say.
Yeah.
That's what Class A and Ortiz.
Yeah.
We got a perfect plan here, man.
Right.
No one's ever going to catch us.
Well, and you say, like, well, ball one, I'll just throw it in the dirt.
Yeah, because I'm going to still get the guy out.
Right.
I'm just starting 1-0. I'm not really harming anyone. But you get caught, and all of a sudden, and then Class A's numbers this year weren't as good as the previous few years. So then all of a sudden you go like this. Oh, why, bud?
Why not?
And it just, look, you've got to, these two businesses have to get together to figure this out, because the last thing you want is you and I having this kind of conversation.
We'll come back on the other side. If there's more updates to this story, we'll certainly provide them for you. We'll probably have more at top of the hour, 5 o'clock news. But on the other side, we'll get back around to the weekend that was in college football. Some near misses, some really good ones, and one blowout that has me thinking, oh, man, you're stuck. We'll explain when the postgame show returns. Cato's Power Equipment ready to help you keep your yard looking great all year long, especially here these last couple of days as this cold front moves in, the wind is blowing, the leaves are all over the place. Listen, if you want to get out there and rake and get some exercise, you can do that. But how about a brand new blower? Or how about using your lawnmower with the bag and the attachments to turn it into a great way to get some mulch and clean it all up at once? But you got to take care of those lawnmowers, and the service department at Cato's can help you out by sharpening the blades, adding a bag or mulch kit, and they can do it for you. You buy it, they put it on right there at the shop, 4012 West Beltline Boulevard, and get in there and see what they can do for you. That's why I love my equipment, because Ben and Matt fitted me into the right equipment, whether it's my mower, my Toro blower, my Toro saws. I have great stuff because the guys really made sure I got exactly what I needed. They'll do it for you, too. 4012 West Beltline Boulevard. Family owned since the 1980s. Always online, CatosPowerEquipment.com.
Quick check on the traffic. We have a few accidents to get to in Lexington. We have an accident, Cassidy Road at South Carolina 6, Dry Branch Road near Leaning Tree Road, Kilbourne Road at Fort Jackson Boulevard, Oak Drive near US 1 Augusta Road, and we have our long-term construction, I-126 between Hugie and I-26, I-26 between Bush River Road and Old Sandy Run Road, and I-26 between I-20, well, do that again. We have some accidents to check into this afternoon. Cassidy Road at South Carolina 6, Dry Branch Road near Leaning Tree Road, Kilbourne Road at Fort Jackson Boulevard, Oak Drive near US 1 Augusta Road.
Mendoza in trouble. It's out. Touchdown. Wow. A Rocco play. Unbelievable. Give him the Heisman Trophy now.
Gus Johnson on the call Saturday afternoon as
So,
Indiana roared back.
at
Gus,
what point does the aneurysm pop?
I don't know, man, but he,
He's
Give him
hilarious.
a raise now,
Yeah.
please.
My man is so funny.
Gus is great. But
I like Gus. I do. I'm one of those Gus guys. I like it. I guess it's not for everybody.
well, I
but
miss him now that he's with Fox. He can't do,
can't do hoops.
the basketball.
I know, I liked him doing
tournament
hoops.
anymore. Yeah, it was really
So good.
He was even better at that than he is at football, and I think he's great at football. but-
Look, I do. I like Gus. I get some people go, oh my God, not me. I dig it's different. I like
yeah,
different.
no, he's fun. But
I like different.
a heck of a game. Both those Big Ten big clashes. Of course, the Penn State game ended up, Penn State at least has ended up not being what we thought they would be. But I did think that was going to be a game. Indiana going in there as 14-point favorites, 14.5, I think it was, felt like a lot to me. And I thought Penn State had something to prove. Penn State took a late lead. And then Mendoza just led him right down the field. Dante Moore did the same thing for Oregon as Oregon was down late after
was a great
Iowa.
game, too.
That game cold, rainy at Iowa City. Thought the Hawkeyes had it done. Again, if Iowa could just score and think of how crazy it is that safety loomed all day.
Yep.
That 2 little points loomed all day because you can't score. And if y'all didn't see that game, the first points of the game were just a horrible snap on a punt.
Terrible. You gotta get the ball out of the end zone or it's a touchdown.
And God bless that punter. He tried to swipe it once, didn't, and then he kicked it out of bounds, out of the end zone. Not just out of bounds, but out of the end zone for the safety.
It was interesting that, when you watch that, Oregon basically won a game playing like Iowa.
Yeah.
They really did. More struggled at quarterback, like you said. Oregon ran the ball well. They played because like you think, okay, they're Oregon. You think fast, athletic, a lot of points, shiny, cool. They had to play in the mosh pit on Saturday, and they found a way to pull a W.
And good for them.
And they needed that win.
Yeah,
they lose that game, by the way, Jay. Their college football playoff percentages go way down.
Go way down because, and that's what I said. I did a little. That was the write up I did for Jack Veltri in our piece. On Gamecock Central Friday, because when Carolina doesn't play, Jack asked us to just do a quick write-up of another game, and that one had a lot of. I thought Iowa was going to win, and when they took that lead, I was like, because And really, that one like 20-something yard pass that was a beauty to set up a short field, a 30-something yard field goal for Oregon to win the game. And I felt gutted for the Iowa
Might have been
fans.
Moore's best throw of the day.
Yeah, it was great. But I felt like that's the kind of game that if Oregon didn't win, they're probably done, because the committee, I mean, they came out, Mack Rhoades came out and said, yeah, we don't really like Oregon's schedule.
Right.
I mean, he basically said it. And in week 1 of the CFP rankings, like, we really don't like Oregon's schedule all that much. And that's why we have them where we do, behind, their top 2 Big Ten teams and then a whole bevy of SEC teams. We don't really like what they've done so far.
The sad part is, okay, all right, to look at their schedule, the Penn State win was gigantic, remember?
It was.
You went to Happy Valley,
in the moment.
Top 5 Penn State team, when we saw how that went.
Right.
But so that great win went from great win to you beat a team that can't get out of its own way. It's not a great win. It's not even a good win anymore.
It's just it's a decent road win now.
So, and then you scheduled Oklahoma State years out,
right?
When they were good Oklahoma State, not this dumpster fire.
Not your fault.
Yeah,
but
you didn't.
Nevertheless,
but this is what happens, though. The best laid plans, right? And this is why the preseason is so useless anymore. We sit here. Remember all the blathering we did about even that Penn State Oregon game, right? Wow, we're going to see about Penn State. We're going to see about Oregon going across the blah blah blah. Well, guess what? The game is nothing now.
Right.
What happened? And again, when you schedule Oklahoma State out 2, 3, 4, 5 years, you're expecting good Oklahoma State, at least a solid program, and that thing's a wreck.
Oh, when they scheduled it,
Yeah,
Oklahoma State was winning 9 and 10 games.
And now look at you. And now you look up and down this thing for a win. The best win is what you got on Saturday.
Yeah.
Think about that for a minute.
So they had already, as I said, they got dinged already, and they had to have it. But fun, 2 really fun games.
Well, the other part of that, when you look at what happened in the Penn State-Indiana game, we were talking about this Friday. Penn State has talent. We forget this. They just, again, this is just, it went sideways. But this is a team on both sides of the ball has got a bunch of dudes who are going to play in the NFL. You lost your quarterback. You started a guy named Grunkmeyer or whatever the hell you're calling him. But Penn State has players. And, Indiana kind of ran into a team that still has players that, for whatever reason, got the juice to go at them on Saturday. Yep. Maybe it's Penn State's last hurrah of the season in their mind. I don't know.
To your point, I was watching Andy Staples and Ari Wasserman yesterday. It was their Saturday night show, but I watched it yesterday. Ari's with you. He's like, look, and I'm just paraphrasing, but he's like, Penn State has the second best roster in the Big Ten.
Really good roster.
I mean, he's like tons of dudes, tons of NFL talent. To your point, I mean, Ohio State obviously number 1, but it's a good team that just lost its way.
Yeah, and is this what we're going to see? Like, to get philosophical, Jay, is this what we're going to see like moving forward in this world we live in now with transfer portals and NIL and rev shares, where? Because, look, let's be honest, Penn State brought back a bunch of guys on both sides of the ball. They added in the portal. They added a fancy defensive coordinator. They did all these things. They were set up for big success. And, well, the quarterback's out. The head coach is fired. All hell's broke loose. Clemson was the same way. Everybody's coming back on both sides of the ball. You got fancy coordinators you're paying a lot of money to. This is going to be Dabo showing you Dabo can still do it Dabo's way. And they're just as big a disaster as Penn State almost.
Yeah, and their seasons unfolded in different ways. Clemson had a couple of losses. That LSU loss, maybe, I don't want to say continued to beat Clemson. I do believe that the Oregon loss really just gutted Penn State.
Well, you came back to go to overtime.
Yeah.
And you were really outplayed for 4 quarters and found a way to get yourself to overtime. And then
But they let it beat them again.
Yeah, and I am not going to disagree with you because so much was built up to win that game. It was a whiteout, 700,000 people in the stadium, in Happy Valley. And this was the year, right? We spent all the money on NIL, James. You wanted it. We got you a fancy another coordinator. Everybody's coming back because we paid these kids. Now go beat a top 10 team.
Yeah.
If you win that game in overtime, how different is Penn State's season?
I think
I would
very.
say a lot
I think very because
say a lot.
nothing else unfolds equally, and that's like well, if that's the only thing, no, then they don't. I don't think they go to UCLA and
No,
lose.
because they got so much confidence. They're puffy
Yeah.
chest. They feel like they're finally getting over the hump. They probably go to UCLA and probably take them to the woodshed.
They probably
Because remember, UCLA's got interim coaches and all sorts of stuff.
yeah.
And I think Penn State, you had Oregon.
Yeah.
Even though you got outplayed, you had them, man, and you let them off the hook, and you lost that game in overtime. And guess what?
And again,
now you got to trudge yourself out to UCLA playing a team with nobody knows the players don't know the name of the coach. So
And then they lost to Northwestern after that. So
not a good move.
they let one loss beat them.
wrecked their season,
more
Jay.
times,
They
yeah.
wrecked their season.
It did, and I feel I feel for him in that sense, but you can't. But James can't let that happen. And they were like 20-point favorites at UCLA.
You know, did you read? I forget if it was ESPN or The Athletic wrote a deep dive about what happened there, and it just felt like when they lost that Oregon game, it was done. It was just a wrap.
Well,
'Cause
and the
here we
way they
go
lost,
again.
and again, the Oregon kid that made that amazing interception to seal the deal.
Heck of a play, man.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you tip your cap.
yeah,
You know,
but
But they
everybody
didn't.
went. Here we go again.
No, they went. They curled up under a rock and decided that they were done.
And look, you know, that's when you as a head coach. This is when you make your money.
Yes.
And look, I'm not saying this. That's why James Franklin deserved to be fired. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that's where you have to step up and say, fellas, we just traded, you know, bare knuckle punches for 4 quarters and an overtime. One of the best teams in the country. We had them. Let's learn from it and move forward and just go pummel somebody.
Go beat UCLA. Go beat Northwestern.
Yeah.
You're sitting at 5-1, and your only one is a loss at home. Yes, but to a really good team in overtime. The committee's not going
And
to
you
hurt
think
you.
about
They're not
this.
going to ding you for that.
You do that, you got to go to Iowa, a game you can win. And yeah, then you're going to get Ohio State, and that would have been your next big game. But you conceivably could have been 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, and 1 going into the Ohio State game. And yeah, that game's in Columbus, but here you are. You would have had an opportunity. If you could have got the stink of that Oregon loss off of you, you look at that schedule, Jay. UCLA, Northwestern, at Iowa. You had a good shot for 3 W's to go to Columbus.
I think so.
And instead, you haven't won a game since Villanova.
But they finally showed it. Who they are against Indiana. And by the way, Indiana's first, if I saw correctly, first ever win at State College.
And look, give them credit. They didn't play well. They were shorthanded. That catch by Cooper might be the catch of the year.
And if you haven't seen
Phenomenal
it, by the way,
catch. But I mean, so you found. This is the thing. You and I have this conversation all the time. This is what winning programs do in sports.
yeah,
You stumble around for the entire game. You hang around and hang around. Then what you do at the end, Jay?
find a way.
Just find a way, man.
And
That's
that
what you
cat,
do.
I mean, his toe on that
I
line,
know.
and they've done the zoom in, and it's
it's a phenomenal catch.
It's
A
phenomenal.
Amazing.
all right. We'll come back on the other side. More reaction to the college football weekend, and again, I'll tell you who I think is sadly stuck with their coach.
This is sad, by the way.
I kind of
This
think it
is
is.
sad.
Maybe I'm kidding a little bit.
No.
You decide when we
Yeah.
tell you on the other side is the postgame show.
All right, good quick check on the traffic. We had a few accidents to get to in Richland, Blythewood Road at Wilson Boulevard, Cassidy Road at South Carolina 6, Dry Branch Road near Leaning Tree Road, Kilbourne Road at Fort Jackson Boulevard, and Oak Drive near U.S. Augusta Road. What fan base got a win on Saturday? And they're probably really depressed. We will talk about that coming up next here on the Postgame Show. Jay Phillips in studio with his cool members-only jacket. Terry Ford, Jalen's here. We're rolling till 6 on the game.
All right, welcome back in. Post-game show rolling on here on a Monday. Jay and Terry with you. Jalen at Master Control. Terry's convinced himself that I'm wearing some type of.
I don't know why
only.
it's got a members-only vibe to me. I don't know why.
I don't either. I don't know.
I did say it was from New York, so that's probably.
Well, I did. I bought it in New York City, but I
don't know
doesn't
what
have
it is
any
about
shoulder straps and snaps.
I know it's
And
maybe
it's
it's just I don't know what it is.
Is
man.
the brand on the tag inside of the jacket? Like if you take it off,
what is it officially?
I don't.
What is that? What is that thing?
I honestly don't know who made it. I just saw it and I liked it. I was like, this looks good. But if it had been members only, I assure you.
Remember those when we were kids?
Oh yeah, I had one.
Did you have one?
Yeah, mine was like silver gray.
Yeah, everybody's was like silver and gray, wasn't it?
I mean, I think it was almost like the law for about 2 years in
Everybody
this
had to have a
country that
members
you had
only
to have a members only jacket. I actually saw someone about 2 years ago.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that this person was an adult in the 80s
And still had the jacket.
and still had the jacket.
And decided to wear it.
Yeah.
In public.
Now, a younger adult, obviously, in the 80s than today. And I was like, man, pulling out the members only jacket.
It's like my guy who still wears his varsity jacket at like 55.
Oh, no. No.
Best one. Had a guy in my graduating class where again we're at Ocean City and he's wearing his varsity jacket on the boardwalk.
No. After graduation?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
No. It's unacceptable.
You should have thrown it in the ocean.
We threw him in the ocean.
You should have.
Yeah, with the jacket on. By
No,
the
you
way.
can't. No, you can't wear your letter jacket
No.
after you
It's
graduate.
over.
Yeah.
It's over.
And really, you can't wear. I mean, I think the last time I wore my letter jacket was probably like before spring break of my senior year.
Right.
Because then it's hot.
I was going to say it's not cold anymore.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing wearing that?
Yeah. All right, guy. He wasn't the most likable dude in the world anyway. But yeah, he's walking the boards
No.
at the beach wearing his varsity jacket and his swim trunks.
No. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Who do you think you're impressing, bro? Seriously. Like, no.
Yeah.
Just no.
It was bad. It was bad.
Speaking of bad, Florida was bad. Before we do anything else, cut number 13, please, Jalen. It was so bad in the first half for DJ Lagway, who turned the ball over 5 times over the course of the evening, at least Florida did. But interim coach Billy Gonzalez said, you know what, son, sit down. Here's what Billy had to say about it.
Well, that was my decision. You know, I think we had a rough first half, and you know, I thought it might be good for him just to have a chance to gather and take a look at it from a coach's point and a coach's view from the sideline. yeah, well, we need to play better all the way around, not just him. Everybody needs to play a little bit better, and I'll take the blame on everything for everything. I think if you take a look at what we do and where we need to be, it's unacceptable, and I'm going to put me up in front and say that's on me. I'll take the blame for this loss 100%. So we got to be better, and we've got to be better. I've got to be better. Make sure these players can continue forward.
Florida and DJ Lagway losing 38-7 to Kentucky. And then this is a Florida team, remember, that beat Texas and pushed Georgia to the
Almost
brink.
beat Georgia in the cocktail party.
And lost 38-7. DJ had 3 turnovers. I apologize. Florida had 4 turnovers for the game.
What was the
3 for
spread for
Lagway.
that?
It was Florida minus 3.5, I think. So it wasn't a huge spread in Florida's favor, but Florida was a road favorite, Jalen, for what it's worth.
Wow.
But DJ, 11 of 19 for only 83 yards, 1 score, 3 picks, again, in the first half. He ran for 27 yards as well, but he was not good. Tramel Jones came in, was not much better, 9 of 17 for 60 yards, no scores, no picks at least. But Kentucky, again, with short fields and opportunities, was up 24-7 at the break, and then added touchdowns in the third and fourth quarter. So, by the way, Billy Gonzalez did announce today at his weekly press conference, DJ will start against Mississippi.
And he said, DJ, throw the ball to the guys wearing the Gator
Our colors.
uniforms. Here's the thing about Kentucky. They scored 38 against Florida. In a 3-game stretch versus South Carolina, Georgia, and Texas, combined, Kentucky scored 40.
Right.
That's a bad football team that hung a 38 burger on you.
Well, when you get that many opportunities early, you're just and to Kentucky's credit, they took advantage.
They took
but
advantage
here's
of
the point I was going to make earlier, and I'll make it now. I don't know if Kentucky is now stuck with Mark Stoops. I mentioned at one point last week, John Summerall is like one of the hottest names in the group of 5 head coaching realm when it comes to moving up. John played at Kentucky. He's coached in the SEC as an assistant, including at Kentucky, amongst other places. He was born and raised in Alabama, so he knows that part of it. And I still believe that that's where Auburn needs to turn their attention. But could Kentucky pull something similar, if you will, to what Georgia did when they knew Ray Tanner was sniffing around Kirby Smart? Hey, we better go get our guy. And again, if you're a Carolina fan, Missouri fan, Tennessee fan, Vandy fan, I don't think you want John Summerall at Kentucky, because I think he can take some things that are being done there and elevate the program again back to where Stoops had it at his heyday a few years back. Could be wrong, because it's Kentucky after all. But if I'm Auburn, I'm going for him. But now you just beat Auburn if you're Kentucky in a really ugly game.
10-3.
And you got this one. And everybody always says Stoops is always good for one upset at home. All right, well, he got one.
Yeah, and he's still 4-5.
Yeah, but they're still 4-5, exactly. And but are they stuck with him?
Well, here's the thing. Ready? Well, first of all, if I'm the AD, we're not stuck. If I can figure it out, I'm moving on.
You got Tennessee Tech this weekend.
That should be a W to be 5-5.
Then you go to Vandy and you go to Louisville.
Should lose.
They're losing both of them.
Yeah,
But you should. The only game you should win the rest of the year is Tennessee Tech.
Yeah, and that would make you 5-7.
But here's the problem: if you stumble into beating Louisville in some miracle way, and you're 6-6, and you go off to another Jimmy Kimmel Bowl, then there's going to be push to bring Stoops back, because you got to a bowl game, Jay.
Yeah, you got a bowl.
Made to a bowl game.
And you're Kentucky.
And you want to live in this world where you're 6-6, you have no win. I mean, you're going to have to. But if you beat Louisville, you win against one ranked team all year. So you go 6-6.
43% chance to beat Louisville. And a 22% chance to beat Vanderbilt.
Last year you're 4-8. Year before, you barely snuck into finishing 7-5 by upsetting Louisville at the end of the year.
Right.
Is this a program going in the right direction in any way, shape, or form? Is there any kind of upward arc, any evolution? No. This guy plays boring football. He plays to his defense. He's playing great football from 1977.
Something like that.
You've got to evolve your program now if you're Kentucky. If you care about football.
Right.
I mean, you're paying this guy an ungodly sum of money to be
Yeah. And you're okay with him being an 8-win team. That's just it. They're not asking you to go win 10 and 11. They're asking you to win 8.
No, I mean.
And they'll pay you $1 million a win.
I mean, right now you're below 500 the last 3 seasons combined.
It's not happening. No, it's time for Kentucky to move on, and they may still move on. But
And
then you go and
they
do this,
should.
and it's Florida,
And
and that does matter up there, up that way. That matters. Like, hey, we look what we did to
Even
Florida.
though you beat a
You took
bad
Texas to
Florida
overtime.
team, you beat a bad Auburn team. You're not beating good teams.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, it'll get spun a certain way if he finds a way to stumble into 6.
It could be a situation where they keep Stoots, and if Stoots doesn't perform in the season, they end up firing him, and then they can't get Summerall in the middle of the season next season.
Well, Summerall's going to be gone.
Summerall's gone.
Yeah, he's going to get a game somewhere.
This is your time to get Summerall. There's no doubt of that. We'll have more on the SEC weekend and the drive around coming up in a bit. Jay or nay on the other side?
second down. A fake. Williams running. Caleb Williams into the end zone. Did he stay in bounds? Still no signal. Now they say yes, a touchdown, 17 yards, and the Bears have taken the lead.
The Bears come back and beat the Giants.
They will be part of your Jay or Nay in a second, sir.
Oh, good.
The Bears.
All right.
Dub Bears.
Brian Dable fired today. If you missed that, we'll have that in the headlines coming up in just a bit.
But tomorrow, Veterans Day, we'll be hanging out with our buds, Rock, and the crew over at Charwood, basically honoring veterans at the memorial tournament that Rock does over there every Veterans Day, 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. We're not allowed on the course.
I believe you.
Yeah, that we can't talk about it either because the documents.
Well, I'm not
are
allowed to
sealed.
play golf right now, sadly.
I didn't know that was happening, but it's okay.
There's a Veterans Day parade right across the street.
Yep.
That's right. That's tomorrow too.
Yep.
Good deal. So thanks for Rock and the crew at Charwood for inviting us out to again honor the folks who do the heavy lifting, so we can sit around here and talk sports like a bunch of goofs.
Amen.
All right, so Jay or Nay, give me some music there, Jalen. Let's do this thing. All right, we're going to go through, and I'm going to throw you some teams, and will they be in the playoffs in the NFL?
Okay.
Jay or Nay?
Okay.
I will start with the 6-3 winners. Winners on Sunday, the Chicago Bears.
Man, you know, they got 8 games left.
At the halfway point.
I'm still going to say nay on the Bears.
Nay on the Bears?
Nay.
They got the Packers twice still. They have the Eagles, 49ers, and Lions.
That's a big ask.
That's a lot of asking right there. So nay on the Bears, on the Bears. I will stay in the NFC, sir.
All right.
The 5-5 Carolina Panthers after what they did on Sunday. That was oh God.
They're like the Falcons. Like 1 week you're like, hey, and the next week you're like, nay.
6-4 San Francisco 49ers.
I think they'll get it together.
Got the taste knocked out of their mouth on
They
Sunday.
did.
Though.
The Rams were excellent yesterday.
Yeah.
Excellent yesterday. But I think the Niners find a way to figure it out.
All right. J or nay, 5-4.
So that's a J.
That's a J. 5-4 Kansas City Chiefs.
J.
You go, Jay?
Still got the Broncos twice.
Yeah.
I don't think they can beat Denver twice.
Here we go. 8-2 Denver Broncos.
Yeah, J.
You sure about that?
No, I'm not sure.
I'll let Jalen do a J or nay. 8-2 Indianapolis Colts. Watch this.
Yes.
What's a J?
Yeah, J.
Yes.
Yeah, Colts. I mean, that's a terrific win for the Colts, too, man.
Especially coming off that loss to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And winning.
then have to fly 5,000 miles away.
And they were in a crop duster. Did you hear about that? They were dropping pesticides and stuff?
No, they weren't.
We had Indiana Jones bleeding.
But they did it. That was a nice win for them. Overtime, but hey, wins are wins.
All right, J or nay? 6-3 Buffalo Bills. They've been scuffling a little
I think
bit.
they'll be a wild card team now because I think the Pats proved they're for real, man.
Yeah.
Tell you what, leading
That was a
division.
really nice win. That was a
Sweet
really
win.
good win yesterday. Tampa's good. And New England was better.
I'll tell you something,
In
man.
Tampa. That was a good win.
Like I said this on Friday, I think. Isn't it incredible when you put a good coach with a franchise? The difference a good coach can make?
and just and Drake May's been fantastic. I just think that look, you aren't going to be everything you were when you lose one of the greatest of all time, and you're gonna fall back a little bit.
Well, I'm going to say this too. They made a move for and basically almost Gerard Mayo was like a coach in waiting in some ways.
Secretly, remember?
Yeah, that thing was so clunky. So then you put him there, and it didn't work, and you saw it working. It did not work so bad. Because what you were seeing in the background obviously had to be worse than what we were seeing in the foreground, and you made a move, and you got the right guy who brought in the right people to work with your quarterback, and now all of a sudden you're an 8-2 team. All right, Pittsburgh Steelers, 5-4, J or nay?
I don't think that. Here's the thing: they're still in front for now, but Baltimore seems to be playing better football now that Lamar's back, and I think only the winner of that division. There's no wild card coming from the AFC North. So I'm going to have to say nay because I think Baltimore will overtake.
Here would be my next one, J or nay? You're with the Ravens.
I think Baltimore's going to overtake Pittsburgh.
And they're on the 3-game winning streak right now.
Yeah.
But more importantly, let's call it what it is. New Orleans Saints, baby, coming off I'm just playing. I am Jay, or I'm Jay or naying.
But I mean, I'd love that for Elijah and my good friend Will King. But
Yeah.
that's not.
All right, 5-4 Jacksonville Jaguars, Jay or nay?
What's Houston?
Houston's
4
3
and 5.
6. Well, yeah, 4-5. Excuse me.
Nah, Jags, nay.
Now I feel like New England's going to be there. Baltimore,
I think
Pittsburgh, one of those
Buffalo.
two.
I think Buffalo and two teams from the West.
Buffalo, the
Get the wild
Chargers, and
cards.
probably the Chiefs is the way I feel it's going to go.
Yeah,
in the
that's
AFC.
the wild card teams.
Yep. And the NFC, I think Lions are in, obviously, and the 49ers will get in,
think so.
and so will the Rams.
Yeah. Headlines of the day coming up. Griffin Pools and Spas ready to help make your life a lot more relaxing. Have you been dreaming of a hot tub? Let's think about it, tonight. Like it's chilly. It's going to be cold, actually. I mean, not just chilly around these parts. It's going to be cold. But what if you were in your Bullfrog Spa? All right? Just out there, just feeling good. Just saying, listen here, Mother Nature. Look at me. Yes, Bullfrog Spas and Griffin Pools and Spas for more than 15 years have proudly partnered up, and they are consistently delivering innovation and quality, customizable design, superior hydrotherapy experiences that earn the trust and loyalty of the entire industry. Go into the showroom at Griffin Pools and Spas, 1348 North Lake Drive, steps away from the Lake Murray Dam. See these. Get an idea of what it's like for you. And then next thing you know, it's out back and you're feeling good all the time. Learn more right now at griffinpoolsandspas.com.
All right, check on the traffic. We've got accidents. All right, South Lake Drive near Highway 602, Platte Springs Road. Also, Kilbourne Road at Fort Jackson Boulevard. I-26 eastbound to Sunset Boulevard. I-20 westbound after Bush River Road at exit 63. Glen Road at US 321. Blythewood Road at Wilson Boulevard. Also, slow traffic. Sunset Boulevard westbound between I-26 and Cromer Road. And also, another accident just came in, Two Notch Road at I-77. 5 o'clock news from our buddies Integrated Media coming up next here on the Postgame Show.
It is 5 o'clock news time here on this Monday. Welcome back in. Also, the final hour of the postgame show. Jay Phillips alongside me, Terry Ford, Jalen Tart at Master Control. We start with Gamecock basketball. Second home game of the season last night at CLA, and the Gamecocks jumped out to an early 16-point lead on Southern Mississippi, and then basically in the middle 20 minutes of the game, but the last 10 of the first half, first 10 of the second half, South Carolina only scored 15 points, and with less than 4 minutes to play, found themselves down 11. Then Meechie Johnson went off with a couple of big threes on his way to a career-high 33 points last night on 7 of 14 from behind the arc, 9 of 19 overall, and a huge 8 of 11 from the stripe, including 2 clutch free throws when the Carolina Gamecocks were down 2 with about 5 seconds to play. He hit them both, sent the game to overtime. He and Miles Studi had some big threes in overtime to help seal the deal, and Carolina beat Southern Miss 83-79. 70 of South Carolina's 83 points were scored by 3 players. Meechie Johnson led the way with, again, a career-high 33. Eli Ellis with 20 off the bench. By the way, no other bench players scored points last night for South Carolina. So you could say, on the one hand, hey, he had 20 points off the bench. One dude. Mike Sheravance had 17 points for South Carolina last night as well. So, again, 3 guys with the vast majority. But Meechie was letting them fly. Again, 7 of 14. Coach Lamont Paris doesn't worry about where Meechie's shooting from.
It's kind of what it is. I mean, there aren't too many no-nos with him.
Right.
I mean, we have a unique relationship, he and I. I think people have talked about that a lot, and so I know him. I know him well, and you know, sure, there'll be a time or two where that may get you in a predicament, but more times than not, he knows when to step on the gas and when to do something different, and so certainly tonight we needed those, and he made them right when his name was called.
Big time win for Carolina because, again, in recent years past, South Carolina has lost games like this. As our good friend David Cloninger pointed out in his game report, this would have been a quad 4 loss because Southern Miss not highly regarded, at least by the, at this point in time, by the computers. And this was a home game, so not one that Carolina could afford to have be an albatross around them or a big anchor around the neck like we've seen with games against Stony Brook, Wyoming, last year North Florida. So good to get this win. Gamecocks have a couple of days to prepare for PC. That'll be Wednesday night over at Colonial Life Arena. As I said, there was a long stretch where South Carolina, who jumped out and got hot early, then completely were cooled off by Southern Miss, showing them a lot of different looks with some zone matchups. Here's more from Lamont Paris on what that did and why it did what it did to the offense.
I think what it did, it created indecision in a lot of different ways. It created a little indecision. Guys that would maybe shoot. They were thinking, should I shoot this, or I could also drive it? Drivers even thought, well, I can get all the way, but then I see another person, so I can't get all the way there. It created some indecision. I thought that was the biggest thing. And then also the way that those guys drove, it created help in a way that we could then fan out to shooters. When we tried to do that in the man-to-man some, but then when they would spray it out, not that they made a bunch of threes, but when they would spray it out, we were so far behind because we did overhelp sometimes. So in that zone, you're built to withstand aggressive, powerful drivers. You have multiple lines of defense, and then you're also built to be able to spread out and guard some threes in a way that you induce more driving, and then once again you have some backup built in behind it. So
learning moment, if nothing else, for South Carolina. Again, how good is Southern Mississippi? I'm not sure. How good is South Carolina? I'm not sure. I expect South Carolina to win their games this week at home against PC and Radford. Then they go on the road up to the Greenbrier Classic in West Virginia, where they have a couple of big conference teams. They'll take on Butler of the Big East and Northwestern of the Big Ten before they return home after that. But, again, last night, I don't want to go so far as to call it an escape. Over 40 minutes, you were even, and then you found a way in overtime. But it was certainly a tale of two, not two halves even, just a tale of two different stretches of ball game where you couldn't figure anything out until you did. So you do have to give Carolina credit for that. We'll have a little bit more from Lamont as part of the Gamecock Notebook coming up.
And that's the thing. We talk about in the opening riff of the show. You found a way to win a game that probably last year you would have lost. And that's the key. You blew a big lead, but you got yourself back into it, and you got a W. South Carolina, by the way, I'm just starting to crack open Ken Palm for the year. South Carolina right now 102nd in the country in Ken Palm, 98 offensively and 108 defensively. So that's where they're at right now. But I believe that's better than I'm looking for Southern Miss right now. But the Ken Palm right now has South Carolina pretty low.
Yeah.
But again, keep winning games.
Yeah.
And you solve your problems. Look, the good news is they found a way to get a W. Michi was good. Michi went off. You got some interesting pieces on this basketball team. The freshman Ellis off the bench has brought you some stuff. You got to get somebody to be able to score inside. You got to be able to score off that three-point line and play more consistent defense. But you know what? 2-0 is nice compared to last year, Jay.
Yeah. I mean,
it's just,
for a bit last night, especially when you're down 11 with 4 minutes to play, that's usually a bad sign.
It's not good.
So you've
really gone ice cold in some ways, and you can't figure out the opposing defense, right?
Right.
So give them props for the comeback, yes.
Again, more from Lamont coming up, part of the Gamecock Notebook. In the meantime, congratulations to Shelley Smith's women's soccer team. Announced today that we'll be heading back to the NCAA women's soccer tournament, the 13th consecutive season that Shelley will lead her Gamecocks into the national tournament. They'll take on Wake Forest on the road. The Deeks are the 7 seed. In the same bracket, Xavier is the 6. Colorado is number 3. Michigan State is the 2. It will be the 18th overall appearance in program history for women's soccer at Carolina. Date and time will be announced by the NCAA shortly, but as of this release, that had not yet been done. We'll keep you posted on that. In the meantime, as we continue our integrated media headlines of the day, the New York Giants have fired Brian Daboll as their head coach after another double-digit lead was blown yesterday. The past few seasons, says owners John Mara and Steve Tisch, have been nothing short of disappointing, and we have not met our expectations for this franchise. We understand the frustrations of our fans, and we will work to deliver a significantly improved product. Here's the thing. The general manager, Joe Shane, will remain the GM, and the owners say he will lead the search. Mr. Mara adding, we feel like Joe has assembled a good young nucleus of talent, and we look forward to its development. Unfortunately, the results over the past 3 years have not been what any of us want.
I mean, some folks think that old Joe has done a nice job in the draft and assembling talent, so he's not the problem. And since Joe is going to search for the next head coach, who were the owners saying was the problem?
Right.
Brian Daboll. We'll see. But Joe also is famously known for as the guy on the phone with Saquon Barkley.
Who let Saquon go?
So, I mean, look, they do think that there is talent there. They just don't have the right coach for the talent, obviously. We'll see if they're right.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you're the GM, though, by the way, you only get so many choices here at the head coach, then guess who gets fired?
Yeah. I would imagine his days are numbered as well.
And folks been wanting Joe Shane out since after COVID because of how bad of a job he's doing from that fan base.
Well, I know people gave him a lot of guff for the Daniel Jones draft, and I think Jones is now proven it. I thought all along this is a good quarterback who's in a bad situation, and even when Saquon was there was nobody to throw the ball to.
Nope.
He was running for his life a lot. Saquon did a lot of things on his own for a couple of seasons.
It just shows you, once again, it's another one of these examples of, you know what? A quarterback's better when you put better people around him and better coaching. Yeah. Guys get better. Isn't that weird? How bizarre is that, Jay?
So we'll see. Good luck, Giant fans, but they should have won that game yesterday.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bears are good, but
once Dart goes out, and you bring in Russ, the whole thing just died.
Yeah.
And Russ, man, just.
I tell you what, that cliff was fast and steep. Wow, it's like
a
the
straight
Coyote.
roller coaster drop.
It was crazy.
It was bad.
All of a sudden, my man went from borderline conversation of the Hall of Fame to, journeyman.
Still here.
Man, just a jag now. It's terrible.
Mentioned this a little bit earlier, but over the weekend, a couple of Cleveland Indian pitchers were indicted on federal gambling charges. They could spend a lot of time in jail. That's not really the story I'll give you right now, though. It was announced in the 3 o'clock hour today by Major League Baseball that several U.S. sports books will establish a nationwide $200 betting limit on baseball wagers that are centered on individual pitches, and they will prohibit such bets from being included in any parlays in an attempt to decrease the incentive for manipulation by players or their associates. Baseball has been working on this actually since the summer after high levels, or what they called unusual wagering detected on individual pitches by Cleveland Guardians starter Luis Ortiz in a pair of games in June, and by All-Star closer Emmanuel Clase. Again, according to the indictment, gamblers won nearly $500,000, $450,000 on bets on individual pitches while this was allegedly going on. The governor of Ohio, Mike DeWine, where sports betting is legal, has called for a ban on these micro props after MLB launched its investigation. But he says by limiting the ability to place large wagers, baseball is taking affirmative steps to protect the integrity of the game and reduce the incentives to participate in improper betting schemes. I urge other sports leagues to follow baseball's example with similar action. I do too. Again, not trying to do too much editorializing here, Terry, but I think, again, if you want to bet. I'm not morally opposed to gambling in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
but prop bets are just too easy in today's world to be manipulated. Whether it's at the highest levels like Major League Baseball, I'm more concerned with it, honestly, at the lower levels of college athletics.
Yeah, absolutely.
But regardless, it's a solid first step. Let's see what the gambling industry wants to do, because they have reason to be, and when I say invested, in making sure that the integrity remains intact.
Well, that's the key to this whole thing. Like we yipped about in the first hour is look, you got a bunch of people who think now your games are being manipulated or rigged, or they're like, guys are being bought, whatever. Say, look at the games as not on the up and up.
Right.
If you're a professional sports league or a gambling entity, that's the last thing you want is people believing that these games are rigged. Right. Because they're not going to bet and they're not going to watch. And last time I checked, those are two really important things for those two industries. Help me out, Jay. Am I missing something?
I think you've nailed it.
So you need to get together and go, okay, we got to come up with a plan here. And like I said earlier, these gambling entities need professional sports. More professional sports needs the gamblers.
Absolutely.
So
finally, the latest AP Top 25 college football poll out yesterday. No change, 1 through 5. Ohio State, Indiana, A&M, Alabama, Georgia. Mississippi is now number 6, trading spots with Oregon. Texas Tech up a spot to 8. Notre Dame is 9th. Texas back into the top 10. Oklahoma is 11th. BYU drops 4 after getting drubbed in Lubbock. Vandy is number 13, escaping in overtime over Auburn. Georgia Tech 14, and Utah is 15th. Then it's Miami, Southern Cal, Michigan, Louisville, Virginia at number 20. And the final 5, Tennessee, Cincinnati, Pitt, who has Notre Dame this weekend.
That could be interesting.
James Madison into the poll, and South Florida is number 25. We'll come back on the other side. We'll blend in a little Carolina basketball and some early football notes as we look ahead to the A&M game on Saturday. The Gamecock Notebook is next. Palmetto Propane's been a family-owned company since 1959. That's right. For well over 60 years, they have had expert installation, exceptional service, and they've been proud to be South Carolina's leading propane and fuel provider. So if you need energy-efficient propane appliances for your home, reliable fuels to run your business, Palmetto Propane still delivers. And now they have their hearth and patio home store showrooms where you can stop in and see so many great products, whether it's a brand new gas fireplace for the indoors, fire features for the outdoors, grills, accessories, and, of course, the Rinnai tankless water heater, which you don't really see a whole lot, but trust me, you'll know you have one because you never run out of hot water. We love ours. I know you'll love yours, too. They've got these shops in Batesburg, West Columbia, Lexington, and across the river in the Aiken-Augusta area. So get over there and see them real soon and learn more right now at palmettopropane.com. All right, welcome back in. It is Gamecock Notebook time. Jay, Terry, and Jalen with you. Drive around the SEC still to come as well. Full credit here to our good friend Wes Mitchell. He's put together what he calls a warm board, not a hot board. In fact, he says they prefer hot boards for open jobs to be sourced by information, not just speculation. But he says in this warm board for the new OC spot, he says they'll look at names that would make some sense. So not
okay.
necessarily, as Wes says, stuff that they're getting
Just a
from
warm
sources.
board.
So it's basically them having names in an oven and they're still baking.
Yeah, slowly.
Yeah.
Like my dad would cook that turkey for Thanksgiving. You put it in like 2 days before Thanksgiving at 150.
Yeah, I like that. Actually.
And like cook for a few days.
I don't mind.
Yeah.
That's a good way to do it. That's how, when you smoke one, that's what you do.
Just fell off, man.
Oh, that's great. I don't have a
Oh, by the
problem.
way, we got to get that.
Deep
fried turkey.
Yeah, I need to find somebody who can do that for. I mean, well, we'll work on that. We'll work on that. I'm not going to do it.
I think you're. I mean, you. I was
There's
going to
people.
vote you.
Listen, here's the thing. I do have a pot big enough to do one, but it really is. It's work, man, because
Is it
it's
really?
got to be perfect. I mean, you got to do it just right on a deep fried turkey. Like my father-in-law likes to do them, and listen, when it comes out, it's great as long as somebody does it right. But you also, I'm not kidding. You need like $100 worth of peanut oil.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because peanut oil ain't cheap, and
It's not.
You need a lot.
That's crazy.
So it may not be $100, but you need a lot of peanut oil, and you need a big old turkey.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Wes and the guys at Gamecock Central start with Pitt's offensive coordinator Cade Bell, son of former Florida quarterback Kerwin Bell. He's been at Western Carolina as well. He's only 32. They're doing well in the ACC right now. 39 points per game is number 9 in the country, second in the ACC. They're 38th in yards per game at better than 426. The mix there is 302 passing, which is good, and about 124 on the ground. That's not quite as good. He likes to throw. Basically, Wes says, he's built a nice passing game, but he says why it might not work is that Coach Beamer might not be ready to, turn the entire offense over to somebody who next season will be 33 years old.
Right. I mean,
and that it may be the need to really fix a lot of things, not just in the short term, but bring in a completely different philosophy in terms of how you run an offense.
Yep.
And that takes us to the next name, which is Brad Glenn. Brad is currently the offensive coordinator at Cincinnati, who's having a really solid season in the Big 12. He's also worked at Virginia Tech, and he worked for several years with Sean Elliott at Georgia State. He's from South Carolina. Now, again, some Gamecock fans may bristle when they hear that he went to Clemson, but that was a long time ago. But Sean knows him, trusts him. They're doing well. National rank of success rate, one of your big things, Terry, 6th in the country,
Yep.
41st in explosiveness, and 7th in offensive efficiency in the nation. So, and here's somebody with, some age and experience on him. He's 53.
He's got a connection here with Sean.
Right.
So that's a name that stuck out to me. Again, I know the Clemson thing will drive some Carolina
Some
fans
people
crazy.
will not,
I understand.
Will not care
I understand.
For that,
I get it. He is a guy he's from the upstate area,
he's from
right?
Seneca.
Yeah. So that's obviously a emotional ding, right? But if you look at the stats this year and what they did at Cincinnati, again, it's nice work. And Sorsby, the quarterback, has had a phenomenal year. Now, again, he checks some boxes in some ways, but no one's saying that's the guy. But he's interesting because of the connection to Elliott, and he is from the state. But more importantly, the team offensively, ready? My sweet spot. Success rate, efficiency, explosiveness.
Yeah.
You can nail those three for me, Jay. We're doing all right.
They also have allowed the fewest sacks on offense in the country, and it's 6th in tackles for loss allowed in the country. So those are some big things. And as Wes points out, those are 2 areas where Carolina must get better. And Wes says this. He says, some will point out that Glenn went to Clemson as a negative, but I'd be much more focused on whether or not he can fix the offense than where he went 30 years
I
ago.
agree 100%.
So there you go. The next one on Wes's warm board is Baylor's offensive coordinator, Jake Spavital. And Terry, you made a good point when you and I were talking about this. It feels like he's been around forever, but he's only 40. He just had such a young start at California and West Virginia and at A&M. And it feels like he's been around a while. The vast majority of his career has been spent in the state of Texas. He's at Baylor now, as we said. He's been at A&M. He's been at Texas State, had a couple of years at WVU, and 2 one-year stints at California. Right now, they're scoring 34 points a game. That's good. Top 25% basically in the country. 454 yards a game. That's 22nd nationally, third in the Big 12. He likes to throw the ball a lot, and that's one of the things that Wes says could be a ding. Says Spavital may be a little too throw happy for Beamer, who values balance. Baylor leads the Big 12 in passing, but the rush numbers aren't great. There is also the question of whether he would even be available, and he tends to spend most of his time in Texas.
Real quick, because I want you to get to the other ones. Just real quick. This whole thought process, we're looking at what Shane has done through his tenure, right? Yeah. And he does talk about balance a lot. We've heard the word. If that was a drinking game, I'd be in rehab every time I heard balance this year from, like, Mike Shula or whatever. I'm hoping.
Balance doesn't have to be 50-50.
No. You know what balance is to me? I can throw it if I need to. I can run it if I need to. But if I can throw it 17 times straight because you can't stop it, I don't care at the end of the game what my total plays are. I care about, can I beat you? Can I walk up to you and say, hey, dude, I like your team. How do you want to lose today? Me running or me throwing it? And that's the thing. I'm just hoping that Shane takes a step back like he did 2 years ago when they had the 5-7. Remember, he did all these things. He evaluated things. He evolved. I hope he sits back and really looks at what works in today's world of college offenses and maybe kind of opens his mind up to maybe trying something different. I hope. We'll see.
Well, if you're out there gaining, nearly 400 yards a game, like in the case of Baylor, 454 yards a game. All right, but 141 on the ground. All right, well, that means you're throwing it for 300 and something a game.
Yeah, and you want to get how many yards a game you get in total, Jack?
Yeah, I'll take that.
This guy's interesting, but he's young. Go ahead.
Yeah, Jonathan Brewer is the final one on Wes Mitchell's warm board for potential OCs at Carolina. Jonathan is currently the offensive coordinator at Duke. He was co-OC at SMU, and he's coached quarterbacks at SMU with Rhett Lashley before moving to Durham to work with Manny Diaz. This year, they are 24th in the country in points per game, 18th in the country in yards per game. And again, you don't call it 50-50. They're throwing for 324, rushing for 136. That 324 per game, by the way, is fourth in the country, first in the conference. Their rush numbers, though, 93rd in the country and 9th in the conference. But again, success rate, top 25 nationally at number 23. Explosive plays, number 20 in the country. And their offensive efficiency is number 22 in the country this season.
Well, and remember, he's done it with two different quarterbacks, man. Yeah. Malik Murphy last year, and they got Mensa this year, the kid from Tulane. So he's done this same type of quarterback, but he had two different ones, and Murphy was really good last year and moved on, I believe, Oregon State. And this year, our boy Mensa came in from Tulane. Remember, they got paid him a little so-and-so.
A lot of money.
Well, a little bit of scratch
Had
there.
a rough game against Illinois, but seems to have settled in after that.
Already 24 TDs, 4 picks.
Yeah.
But completing 70% of his passes.
Weren't 2 of those picks in the Illinois game? I think. And gave the Illini short fields. Remember that opening game? Wes has some interesting folks on this list. We'll see where it ends up going. Check it out at Gamecock Central. Again, warm board right now. By the way, one more other one on here that I'm not going to get into is Gus Malzahn. Not because I don't like Gus, but I think everybody knows what Gus is about.
Everybody knows Gus.
Yeah.
And I guess, again, if we don't have time to get to this because we're running short here, but the other caveat of this, we have to remember, if this season ends the way we don't want it to end, and let's say it ends at a 5-7 or 4-8, there's that perception that, are you going to come in here and be an OC for a guy who might be coaching for his job?
Right.
And Malzahn did that this past year at Florida State. How's that going? And some of these other guys, would there be a hesitation of that because of the situation for 2026 here in South Carolina? Just saying.
Something to think about. That's our Gamecock Notebook. Drive around the SEC is next.
All right, let's get a little traffic in here. We have some accidents, unfortunately. Glen Road, US 321 in Columbia. Also in Columbia, I-20 westbound after Bush River Road, exit 63. I-26 eastbound after Sunset Boulevard, exit 110. Longs Pond Road at Bar Road. South Lake Drive near Highway 602. St. Andrews at Piney Grove. Two Notch at I-77. We'll jump back in here or drive around the SEC, get you caught up on what happened this weekend in the Southeastern Conference in football. That is next here on the Postgame Show. Jay Phillips, Terry Ford, Jalen's here. We're rolling till 6 on the game.
All right, it is Drive Around the SEC time on this Monday. Welcome back in. Jay and Terry with you. Jalen at Master Control. Start with a story about Brian Kelly, who has been talking. So has his agent. Of course, Coach Kelly fired by LSU on October 26th. He was in the fourth year of a 10-year, $95 million contract.
That's a lot of money, man. Lord.
The Baton Rouge Advocate reporting that Scott Woodward offered Coach Kelly a lump sum of $25 million on the day he was fired.
Mm-hmm.
Also offered to remove the mitigation language in his contract, which would have reduced the buyout if he had coached again.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, here's $25 million, just leave.
Right.
He said no.
Because
Then-
what's his buyout?
It's 54.
Uh-huh.
It's 90% of what's left, which is 54. A couple of days later, LSU increased that lump sum offer to $30 million, but payable in 2 installments.
Okay.
Brian Kelly said no. Now, his attorney, and I don't know who it doesn't say who his attorney is here, it doesn't have a name, says that the school is basically obligated to do this, and absent this written confirmation by that date today, by 6 p.m. Central Time, so got a little bit more time left, Kelly will be expected to get everything that he is owed. Absent this written confirmation by that date, Coach Kelly will pursue all available legal remedies. They basically say, though, that they are open to a lower number. I think he'd probably like to get the mitigation language out.
Absolutely.
Because I'm not sure if he's going to coach again. I think he probably will.
Yeah.
But it's a matter of where.
I think he wants to get the bad taste out of his mouth and the bad perception. Because let's face it, the perception of him is not good.
It's not.
And
But you've been at Notre Dame and LSU. You're not getting that kind of gig again.
You were very successful, and you were successful. Look, you averaged 9 wins a year. You just didn't do what you were hired to do, which you win a national championship or get to the college football playoff. But it's not like, dude, you cratered and you're our boy at Wisconsin, hanging on for dear life, fickle. So, I mean, we have to remember something because it's tough because he's so unlikable, right? He is such an unlikable dude that from what we see of him, we've got to move it out of the way. The guy's a really good football coach.
Yeah.
And even quote unquote didn't work at LSU, he averaged 9 wins a year. You know how many schools would kill to have a coach and averaging 9 wins a year?
Sure, that's why James Franklin's going to work again. And he has mitigation language in his contract, too.
So, I mean, with Kelly, how much of this do you think is just the process of everybody's doing the dance? Or is Kelly just being difficult because Kelly wants to be difficult? Because he can be in some ways.
It's a little bit of both. But look, both parties signed the contract. So, I mean, while, like you say, Brian may be an unlikable character, contract's a contract.
Exactly.
You know, and LSU signed the contract.
By the way, I just the way this would go if a lesser amount isn't negotiated, LSU would owe Kelly $54 million in monthly payments that would go through 2031,
Yeah.
minus any future salary he receives in coaching.
That's just it. Again, so again, if he does go coach somewhere else, he can go well under market, and that's another thing that LSU may look at and go, hey, you're not paying him minimum wage.
I was going to say, could you see we're paying him $15 an hour?
Yeah. So you got to be careful with that part of it too, and at least pay him and that's why I say, where is he going to go? I don't, like would Oklahoma State hire him? Or some job like that.
I'll be honest with you though. I mean, if you're Kelly, like Oklahoma, we always forget too. Oklahoma State was really good for a while under Gundy, but Oklahoma State wants to get back to winning at that clip again. Kelly could go to Oklahoma State and win 9 games a year, and they would be very happy.
They'll be happy.
And there are a lot of places like Kelly could go to and replicate 9 wins a year, and they would be like, "We love you, man. You got the personality of a sweat sock, but we love you."
Yeah.
So, I mean, he is going to, if he wants to keep coaching, he'll go and be successful somewhere else. I wonder how much of this is the way this whole thing went down also. I mean, with the governor and all this other mess and nonsense at LSU. Because, at the end of the day, probably just both parties meet in the middle and walk away a little unhappy and just get this thing over with.
Well, that's again, if you could get $30 million paid like in 2 $15 million installments, and you don't have to worry about the mitigation language.
You know what? And plus, you got a lot of money in the bank, I would think, right?
Yeah, but I don't blame him. I really don't. I mean,
the contract's a contract, like you said.
Yeah.
And you know what? You owe me $54 million.
And the next thing is when in this mitigation language, both he and James Franklin, it's. You have to have a good faith effort to go get another job.
Right.
It's not just if you go get a job. You're basically required to seek meaningful employment.
Yeah, you just can't sit around and collect the dough. Right.
So, and I don't know where the lines are drawn for Brian Kelly or James Franklin, honestly, if they didn't coach again, but they got, a good gig on TV. I don't know if that counts.
I don't either.
I don't know if it's just a coaching job, or you can't go consulting.
Yeah, exactly.
Or, I don't know.
That's the gig in life. Consultant is the gig in life, isn't it? Yeah.
But is it realistic that one of those coaches could go to Oklahoma State or Virginia Tech? Or
I think I think James Franklin at Virginia Tech would be perfect.
I think that's a really good move because you know what? He understands recruiting that region. He can go get players in the DMV. I mean, the Virginia, that Tidewater, Newport News, Norfolk area's got a lot of ball players.
Tons.
Franklin's a really good recruiter.
There's tons of athletic
and he
talent
goes back there and starts winning 9 games at Virginia Tech, and they get back to getting that feels they used to have from the Frank Beamer era.
Yeah.
Franklin could stay there until he keels over.
I think,
and the AC is not really a big Power 4 conference like how you have with the SEC
Fellas,
and the Big Ten. So
I heard this today driving back this morning. If the ACC goes sideways, and the Duke Blue Devils, who, by the way, have 1 conference loss but have 3 non-conference losses, if the Duke Blue Devils at 8-4, how about that? If the Duke Blue Devils would somehow win the ACC championship, there is a doomsday scenario here that the ACC champion would not make the college football playoff.
Absolutely.
Wow. How embarrassing would that be for a Power 4 league not to make the college football playoff? And Jalen, that's to your point. If I'm James Franklin going to Virginia Tech, the ACC is there for the taking, baby. Let me build a program, and I can go get in the college football playoff within a couple of years.
Yeah.
So I don't disagree on Virginia Tech and Franklin.
So we'll expect an announcement here, again, 6 o'clock Central Time for this Brian Kelly story.
And before we forget real quick, let's put Kelly at Oklahoma State real quick. He starts winning 9 games at Oklahoma State. Guess what he's in competition for there?
Yeah. Playoff bid.
Yeah. So
no doubt.
I'm telling you, it could be worse places to land.
Yeah, just saying. And is he up for that kind of gig? We'll find out. Georgia, as expected by some, did assert themselves on Saturday, beating Mississippi State 41-21, and State scored late to make that one. That game was not as close as it would appear.
No.
A&M and Mizzou, same thing. Missouri got a late score, 38-17, the final from Como. Bama. Listen, LSU had, I think, 4 trips into the red zone, no touchdowns.
I know.
They got 3 field goals. Bama, red zone defense, excellent. Y'all, I think Bama's going to go undefeated in conference play. And again, they'll really be disappointed.
They have Oklahoma, Auburn, and their cupcake.
They've got a non-con.
And their cupcake.
Yeah.
I think they win all 3.
I do too.
In the Oklahoma game in Tuscaloosa?
It is.
Yeah, they win all 3.
Auburn's at Jordan-Hare, but Alabama's better than Auburn.
Yeah.
Speaking of Auburn, though, they gave Vanderbilt all they could handle and then some. This game went to overtime. Once again, Vandy with some late heroics to push past Auburn, who was up at the break 20-10, but 28 points for the Commodores in the second half, pushed it to overtime. And then they got the winner, 45-38. So a good win for Vandy and a nice showing, at least for Auburn. Some are saying, hire DJ Durkin.
Yeah, go ahead, do that.
Do so at your own peril.
Go get him, baby.
That's my
Hire
opinion.
that guy.
And again, Kentucky took advantage of 3 DJ Lagway interceptions in the first half and cruised past Florida 38-7. DJ was benched, but it was announced today that he will start again for Florida when they take on Mississippi this weekend.
Yeah, I mean.
But that was ugly.
That was ugly, man. And by the way, we're going to see Diego Pavia in New York, right?
I don't know. I guess it might depend on what the voting is like. I mean, I'm not. I kind of think so.
Well, I mean, this guy's had an incredible season. You see what he did in that Auburn game?
Yeah.
He was filthy.
I mean, Pavia, Chambliss, Moore, Mendoza.
And again, people are going to knock because I mean, again, 1-loss records for quarterbacks is the second most asinine stat in sports behind the quality start in baseball.
Yeah.
But in the loss, right? Pavia in the loss to Texas threw for 365 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 picks, ran 14 times for 43 yards. Did Diego Pavia play defense?
No.
But you're going to hold that against him to possibly have him at the Heisman Trophy ceremony.
Maybe. I don't know. I like C.J. Carr at Notre Dame. I like Jeremiah Love at Notre Dame. There's a lot of.
I've really come to really have warm feelings for Diego Pavia.
That's the drive around the SEC. We'll tell you who did what in the wild card showdown and Little J versus the Internet coming up. All right, final few minutes on this Monday. Welcome back in. Jay and Terry with you. Jalen at Master Control. Again, tonight, Monday Night Football, Eagles-Packers. Tomorrow, all day. Well, not all day. Our show won't be out there because by then the golf will be over.
Right. I mean, we'll be out there by ourselves.
But the morning show and the mid-morning shows, lunchtime show, all be out at Charwood tomorrow for Veterans Day, a big memorial tournament going on there. And then we'll be out a little bit early tomorrow because Carolina-Clemson women's basketball.
Yep, 5:30 pregame with our buddy Brad, 6 o'clock tip.
There you go. So.
Supposed to be a little bit more. The word is Clemson's getting a little bit better than in past years.
Right.
So we'll see.
They're going to be good next year, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've been doing some recruiting.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
All right, before we do Jay versus the Internet Wildcard Showdown, yours truly has moved into the lead.
You've been on a hater lately,
I have.
man.
I went 4-1. You went 2-3. Elijah went 3-2. Our listener Paulie went 1-4. Sorry, Paulie.
Sorry, Paulie.
And Colin went 3-2.
Sorry, Colin.
But Colin wins the beer card because he beat two of us. He tied with Elijah. He beat you, and he had the tie break with the total offense. Marcel Reed at Missouri. He guessed 322. Marcel didn't need to do a lot, even though they scored 38 points. He only had accounted for 250 total. But Colin wins the week over Elijah.
Colin.
So way to go, Colin. We'll be in touch. I am now 30-25, one game ahead of Elijah at 29-26. You are still very close behind at 27-28.
Look at us.
So,
man, you've been cooking.
I have of late. I
You've
have
been rolling.
Do what, Jalen? I'm sorry.
You're 4-1 from your house?
How about that?
Well, that's the thing. Maybe we found the magic. You just got to be at home.
Just pick it home. Let's see. I was
Pick it home,
4-1.
dude.
I was 4-1 this week. I was 3-2 the week before, and 4-1 the week
Can I
before
ask you a
that.
question? So was it 3 weeks ago when the wife started picking the games for you?
It was the dog.
The chew
Yorkie
toy.
and the lab.
If the chew toy goes to the left.
Truby knows
man.
what's up. All
Very
righty.
nice. All right, hit some music there. Give us a little millionaire. All right, Jay. Eagles-Packers tonight. Green Bay minus a 1.5 in Green Bay at Lambeau.
With what I saw from the Eagles when they played the the Packers when they played the Panthers, I'm like, seriously? Because I have the Packers are my Super Bowl pick in the
Mine
NFC.
too. They seem like
no.
they're just floating along. Like sometimes they care and sometimes they don't.
Yeah, Eagles.
Eagles.
I think the Eagles are going to win the game.
Eagles getting the points.
I don't know.
At Lambeau.
I like the Packers. I do.
I think Jordan Love is going to show us a different Jordan Love tonight, but
well,
hey.
they better.
I'll say this. I think the Packers at home, Monday Night Football, I think they care.
Yeah.
I think they'll care tonight.
I don't disagree.
Because the team that doesn't care gives up 40-some points to the Cowboys without CeeDee Lamb, right?
I just think I think the Eagles care every day.
Well,
Yeah.
They care all the time. So, you know what?
If it comes down to the touch push, they're not winning.
Now, I think the Packers will win at home, but in the big picture, I think the Eagles are the better team. But even though I picked the Packers to go to the Super Bowl.
I haven't seen
either,
from the
man.
Packers what I wanted to see.
I'm a little disappointed. How about you?
A little bit.
A little bit. All right, so you're going to go Eagles. All right, college hoops. Number 16, Iowa State, hosting Mississippi State out of the SEC. Iowa State giving 5.5 at home to Mississippi State.
Wow. Mississippi State's got a lot of dudes. Iowa State, though.
Iowa State. All right, watch this one. NBA. Lakers. Hornets. Lakers are giving the Hornets 8.5. They could give them 80.5.
Where is this game in L.A.?
It's in Charlotte.
Charlotte.
So Charlotte's getting 8.5 at home.
Yep. Luka might score more than the entire Hornet team.
Yeah, I got no faith in the Hornets.
Going Lakers?
Yeah, Lakers.
What if I said it was 18.5?
Then maybe. Maybe.
I mean, the Hornets just gave up 53 points and a half.
They're terrible.
Yeah.
They're just terrible.
Their rookies are good. They got good rookies.
They got a long way to go to be any good. It's
Knapple's pretty good, averaging 24.
Yeah, I mean he's not. I mean he can flat out score.
Yeah,
he really can. And you got Brandon Miller from a couple years ago.
Yeah, I like Miller.
They're too injury prone. Either LaMelo or Miles Bridges gets injured, and this is the end of their season.
LaMelo is always hurt.
Yeah.
always hurt. So, I mean, it's a mess. The Hornets are a mess like they always are. They're always
Some
a
of you
mess.
might be in the car on the way up there, so have fun seeing
Enjoy it.
the Lakers tonight.
Yeah.
That's really what it's all about.
I mean, going to watch Luka maybe throw a 40 or 50 burger tonight.
That's what-
Austin Reeves is averaging 30-some points a game.
Yeah.
Isn't that one of the signs of the apocalypse? I mean, he's a nice player, but good Lord, 31 a game or whatever it is. Anyway, here's your Jay or Nay. Good
Shane
luck.
Beamer presser tomorrow at 1. That'll be live. And Ryan Brewer in the house tomorrow as well.
All right,
We'll do it
Bruce
all
Day,
again.
baby. Good
Yep.
job, Jalen.
All right, I hope you've had your heating and cooling system checked, really just your heating checked, because I've got 42 degrees as we speak in downtown Columbia, and there is a freeze warning tonight. So I hope your heat is ready to keep your family nice and comfortable. If you find out that it's not, well, 803-677-1500, call AAA Heating and Air so that the rest of the cold days and weeks and months can still be nice and comfortable for you. If it's time for a brand new system, Roy and Dana Finley still have an offer running through the end of the year. $1,500 system buyback rebate, guarantee financing, 15-year parts and labor guarantee, and no payments or interest for a full year. So if it's a quick repair or just an inspection even to make sure that your heating unit is ready to go, or it's something brand new, anything in between, do what I've done. Many of your friends and neighbors, 803-677-1500. Stay nice and comfortable all the time with AAA Heating and Air.